Face Mob Hype Magazine is going down.
Yeah.
Hello, Cool J, Necessary Exposure, Hype Magazine.
Yo, this Red Man in the building, you already know. The Hype Magazine, you already know. We here in Jersey, I holds it down. You already know when you want that real shit, you want to check out the exclusive, check out Hype Magazine, Red Man and I'm man.
Hey, what's good, everybody? Welcome to another live session with the Hype Magazine. I'm your editor-in-chief, Jerry Goby, and today, I have this amazing young lion by the name of Papoose. He is a father, a teacher, a mentor. He's got some exciting things going on. He's now part of a podcast called Listen to Black Men. He appeared with Dave East, Papoose, Jim Jones, etc. And they talk about some topics that we normally don't hear Black men talking about. If they do talk about it, somehow we miss sharing it. Thanks for being with us, Papoose.
Peace. Thanks for having me, brother.
Man, so listen to Black men. We complain all the time that we don't get listened to. We get looked over on Father's Day. But this TV show and series, it's a 7-part series, and this brings everything to the forefront. And I'm wishing, that this thing gets picked up majorly. So talk to me, how did you, what was the defining moment that brought you to participate with Listen to Black Men?
Absolutely. I think I'm just living my life, being who I am, living in my truth. I came up in a household where my mother and my father were both married. And as a kid, I seen pictures of their wedding on the wall. And my pops had the Jerry curl, the white suit. My mother had the pretty dress on. And from that moment, I said, one day I want to have a wife and one day I want to be married. And that stuck with me as a child. So I always like to say that whenever I got an audience, because I want to send a message to all parents. Just know that your kids are watching. And, being inspired since a young age, eventually I became married. And I think just living my life, being who I am, my wife, my family, the great people of this podcast, they seen that and they invited me on the platform. So I was just honored to be here. But that's how I got on it. They just reached out to me, just living my life, brother.
I think it's amazing to hear brother talk about, my mother and father were married. That's how I grew up. And it wasn't all about, not saying that the grind wasn't there and some choices weren't made, but they were there doing the best that they could to provide. And you got to see that picture while a lot of us don't. Celebrating Black men stepping up, being fathers and great husbands, or doing their best to be great husbands. I'm a father of 6 and a grandfather of 15. I agree with you 100%.
Right. Absolutely. A lot of our people, when they paint the picture of growing up in the ghetto and they talk about it, they don't talk about the family that might have lived in the neighborhood that did have a mother. Some of us weren't as fortunate enough to have both parents. I had it, but that doesn't mean we didn't struggle. We struggled. My pops went to work every day. My mother was a stay-at-home mom, and we went through hell. We lived on the first floor. When certain incidents happened, we had to duck down. You know what I'm saying? I can remember that as a youth also. I can remember struggling. I can remember free cheese lines. But I can also remember those good Christmases when I got that Nintendo and my pops checked me and put me in line. He was real tough on me. But, overall, what I took out of it was family is everything. Regardless of what we went through, it didn't matter. We stayed together. And that unity is what got us through those hard times. So, when they paint the pictures of the ghetto and they try to make it seem like if you had both parents, you didn't struggle, that's a big lie. You know what I'm saying? We still struggled, but we stayed together and that unity got us through it all.
I understand. My dad worked 3 jobs. My mom worked 2. I understand. Came up, you know what I mean? So we're in a day where babies are raising babies, you know what I mean? And some of the morals, some of the ethics, the work ethic and things that our grandparents, our parents may have imparted in us are going by the wayside. They're not listening. What do you say that gets through? You have such a wide audience and people, lean forward like your E.F. Hutton when you speak. Loved your participation and the value that you brought to the episodes that I saw.
Thank you.
What do you say to the youngsters, like, bruh, this knowledge is really here. The gray hairs know something.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I deal with that challenge all of the time with the youth, some of the youth, because some of them catch on, but majority don't. You know, they look at old age as, oh, you don't know nothing, old time, or this, that, and the third. But man, that's experience is the best teacher. It ain't nothing but wisdom. Now, you can either learn from, you know, those who are older than you, or you can learn the hard way. You know what I'm saying? And I try to install that in them. And like, listen, you got to understand, you might want to learn from these people instead of taking that path. You don't got to go down this path, especially if you got, you know, those who are older than you in your life telling you to be very mindful and be very careful. As far as babies having babies, man, you know, I don't really pass judgment on that, because I experienced that. I had a child when I was really young, and me and my child, we grew up together to some extent. Because I can sit here and be honest in front of you and say I was a child myself. I was doing everything financially, you know what I mean, that I could possibly even think of, but it's more than that. So now I got a 4-year-old, and I come to the realization that, man, I got so much more to offer. I'm more mature. I know more. I got more experience, like you was just saying, and I have a lot more to offer to my child. So, you know, I would give the advice to anybody out there young. If you don't have any children, wait, be patient. You want to wait till you mature. You will have a lot more to offer. You know, you can do it when you're younger, but it's going to be rough, man, because you know,
yeah,
you to a certain extent, believe it or not, you're not really ready yet.
Yeah, that was no stab on young people having babies. My mother was 16 when she had me, and
there you go.
But I think I was talking about era and the styles of the era and the parenting techniques of earlier eras. You know, my great-grandfather was a sharecropper, and he was a much stricter, you know what I mean? There was no conversation. Now you have to discuss things with the young people. I mean, I got a 16.
Well, now back then we had our grandmothers and grandfathers, but now they got these things raising them.
Feel me? Yeah. That is what it is. You got to fight against AI and the computer.
These are the parents nowadays. You know what I'm saying? And man, so you know,
what has been, speaking of, you know, I've been married 20 years. You're a young man who seems to have found a recipe for a solid marriage. You were quoted as, I heard you say, you know, men, if you don't raise your women up on a pedestal, the woman who's supporting you's got your back, etc., you know, that she's going to feel like kind of, and I'm paraphrasing, but pretty much abandoned, and as if you're not fully appreciating her. How do you compare that message to maybe some of the entertainment that we're getting, where it's kind of skewed messages?
You know, I try my best, man, and you know, not to live my life. You know, I don't want to word this wrong, but you know, based upon entertainment, man, you got to know the difference. You know, when brothers are out here saying things like, pardon my language, bitches ain't shit, money over hoes, and all of these weird phrases, you got a mother, you know, you got a daughter, you got an auntie, so you got to take that into consideration. You know, always treat your lady how you would want a man to treat your daughter. And those are the things you got to take into consideration moving forward. I think the quote you was talking about was, a woman is the most precious jewel, more precious than a ruby, emerald, diamond, or sapphire. Each man has to take one woman and rise her above the rest so she could show the world how precious she truly is. Meaning, if you don't put your lady, and I always try to make brothers understand this, if you don't put your lady on that pedestal and lead by example when it comes to being faithful, being loyal, you know, you got to lead by example. You will never know her full potential. So you may have a great woman, but you just think you're slick. And you think you're so slick that you're not allowing your woman to flourish and show those great qualities, because I hate to be the one to tell you, but your lady is always going to be 10 steps ahead of you when you think you're slick. They know us better than we know our damn self sometimes, man.
Bro. Look, my girl, I spent most of my life in the military, but my girl, within 2 weeks, knew my social security number, birthday, blood type. She knew what food I liked, the whole 9 yards. I'm like, this is scary. And I
I don't mean to cut you off. When you leave in the house and you can't, hey, baby, you see my keys or my wife? They know exactly where it's at.
Look, met me at the door with my glasses, my phone, and my keys. Did you forget something?
Yeah.
We've been married 20 years, bro, I swear. And I thought it was crazy. I was raised with 9 sisters and a mother. So survival skills and paying attention to women and respecting them, that's something I grew up with. But I made missteps like every other man.
There you go. We're not perfect. I always want to make sure I don't forget to say that shit. Because as humans, we aren't perfect, bro. But that doesn't define you. And this is from me to you. That doesn't define you. What defines you is learning from your mistake and making it better. It's never, they got this thing where it's too late. As long as you got air in your lungs, it's never too late to right your wrongs. You know what you did and what and who you did wrong on this planet. Fix it. Yeah. So it's about correcting that and moving on, learning from it, bro. And I don't judge anybody upon a mistake. It makes you more of a man to acknowledge that. So I respect you for even whatever it is. I don't know what it was. I'm just saying, the fact that you spoke on it.
I appreciate you. So talk to me as a aware Black man, as an aware father, a husband who's in touch with what we need to do. How excited were you when iOne Digital announced that they were going to do this with Mouse Jones, to listen to Black men? And you got an opportunity to really use a massive platform to contribute to that conversation.
Absolutely. Very excited to receive the invitation. You know, this is a podcast, but I've done reality TV. And one of the things I take from it is, you know, I've done it with my wife, right?
Right.
And we're always busy. We always want to go. We're always traveling. But when you get in front of those cameras and they say, and they might not do it on purpose, but they say, hey, you know, turn your phone off. And you get to just sit there and build with another human being without any disturbances from these devices. You know what I mean? It's kind of therapeutic. And it's the same thing with this podcast. When you look at it, it's just a bunch of brothers and a couple sisters sitting around, just chopping it up, not scripted, real genuine reactions, and everyone just interacting and just building on different topics. Sometimes that's very therapeutic, you know, without even knowing that you're going into that kind of arena.
Okay. Well, I applaud everybody who put it together. And I've been watching you silently. I'm going, man, this brother is really doing it. I got a chance to see a couple of the episodes. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And I'm
glad
like,
you enjoyed it.
Okay. This is the kind of leadership that we need. And especially with someone in your position, it takes a lot of intestinal fortitude, in my opinion, to step out and sometimes say the unpopular things. Check the brothers when they need to be checked. You know, maybe not in a disrespectful. We ain't checking you disrespectful, but brother, you got to elevate your game. The conversation has to be higher that you're having about and around certain topics. So, you know, you guys are covering everything. May I know what is the most important message that you would like young Black men to know when we're talking about building family, relationship, commitment, and confidence in your ability to stay the course?
Absolutely. I would say don't give up, man. So many people get married and, you know, they want to have the pretty wedding. They want to have the nice celebration. But as soon as something don't go their way, they look for that side door. And that side door is divorce. And in the end of that situation, you know, that the babies aren't being raised with that family foundation. You know, shout out to all the single parents out there. I salute you and I tribute you. But at the same time, it's nothing like having mommy and daddy under the same roof, raising that family under that divine rule.
Right.
And, you know, I would just say, don't give up. You know what I'm saying? Try to stick it out, try to work it out. None of us are perfect. Like we were saying earlier, you know, we as humans, we make mistakes. It doesn't mean you got to, you know, make it so final and give up on your significant other. My advice would be stick it out, man. Loyalty is everything. And stay together, stay united, man. We need more Black families.
You know, it's a lot of people forget that our grandparents, not only did they go through the family struggles and the financial struggles, but societal struggles. And they made it. My grandparents were married for 55 years. You know what I mean?
Mm.
That was my example.
Wow.
You know, being with my wife for 20 years, I'm hoping to set an example of longevity. The message from me is that life is going to try that bullshit, but you can win.
There you go, brother. I love to hear it, man. You know what I'm saying? Even this is therapeutic. See what I'm saying? Us just chopping it up. I love what you just said. Very true. Life is going to try that BS, but you can win. So listen, nobody ever said it was going. I told my wife the other day, ain't nobody ever said it was going to be easy. You know what I'm saying? You going to hit a pothole. You be going down the road. You're going to hit a pothole. A couple things going to happen, but it's all about, you know what I'm saying, keep going and understanding what your foundation is and what you actually set your goal from the beginning. That way you can just keep going and keep building, man. You know, it's just all about sticking it out, man. That's all, man. It's all about that.
I want to respect your time, and I know that we're running short. But as a Black man and as a father and as a brother who came up through the different various angles, you know what I mean? What has been the biggest takeaway for you as far as preserving mental health? You have it harder because you're also a celebrity. You're also now an executive. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
That's a lot. Plus trying to be a good father and a husband and understand, you know, what your significant other is going through in their career as they move. How do you keep it all together mentally, stay focused, not get disgusted and discouraged?
To be honest with you, the thing I've done in my more recent years, I can't say I've always been so focused on this. But I'm gonna tell you what helps me a lot these days, man. And this is the most genuine advice I could give. A lot of people not going to believe this, but if they try it, they're going to say this brother was right. Prayer. I pray. I get down on my knees and I pray as much as I can. And when you pray, you will find that the course of your day and everything goes well. Sometimes you can even pray for the right words to say to a person so it doesn't go left. Prayer works, man. When it comes to that right there, what you just mentioned, bro, that's my answer. Prayer. I pray, man. And when I pray, I get the best results out of life.
Okay. All right. Like I said, I'm respecting your time. I could probably talk to you all day because I found your interviews interesting. I found your commentary interesting.
Thank you.
I have actually made a list of like 20 quotes. I was like, damn, this brother's deep. It's more than the music. So, you know, you've exhibited leadership from independent artist standpoint, staying strong, standing 10 toes down on keeping first count on your money. You've learned the hard lessons. You're doing that. You're making yourself personally available through your new position as an executive and continuing your leadership through that platform to bring people forward. Yes. I would like to know, how will you, and if we're not supposed to talk about this, feel free, anybody, to cut me off, but how the messages that you're giving on Listen to Black Men, how will that translate into your personal interactions through your new position as a music executive? And discuss it if you want. If not, tell me to shut up. I
sure will. I think it's very consistent. I think, you know, my message on the podcast will be very consistent with my message that I give to upcoming artists. You know, this is what people don't understand, man. I've been through a lot as a musician, as a man, you know what I mean, and as a human being. I've been through a lot. And a lot of people talk about what they've been through and they glorify the problem. I don't do that. I glorify the solution. I mention the problem, but I always try to come up with a solution. So you've been through a lot as an artist. Okay, we're sorry to hear that. But what are you doing to prevent other up-and-coming artists from going through those same trials and tribulations? Me, I'm at TuneCore, passing knowledge down to the new artists and encouraging them to be independent and monetize and make money off of your own music instead of being pimped by these record labels. You got people in the music business, right? they're in positions of power and they're extremely successful to the point where we're counting their money through Forbes and all of these other fancy platforms. But what are these guys doing, man, to help the up and coming artists, musicians, producers, all different walks? What are these guys really doing to help others come up? You know what I'm saying? And not to say they owe anybody anything, but I'm just saying we gotta find that moment, right? When we come back and pull somebody else up. So, me going through what I went through as an artist, my ups and my downs, because hip hop has been very good to me. I can't sit on here and say it hasn't, but I've had my down moments. And part of my job is to prevent the youth and the up and coming artists from going through that, because I don't think no artist should have to suffer on any level. You should be able to come in, because we're passionate as artists. We come in this game so passionate, so ambitious, and we were like, damn, I want to win. I can't wait to show the world my talent. And then boom, you get hit with the business side. And it's like, wow, what is this? I didn't learn about this. I never read the book of business. I didn't know about points. I didn't know about publishing. I didn't know about all these different things. And it slows you down and it takes that away. So I want to preserve that in new artists when they come in there with all that ambition and all that passion. I want to preserve that so they can share that with the world without having to worry about that. And this is one of the great things we do at TuneCore. We have splits where you can just put the artist names in and we take it from there. We make sure everyone is paid, properly on your project and things of that nature. So, TuneCore is the only distributor that you maintain 100% of your own profit. These other distributors, they don't do that. It's 80-20 or 60-40, whatever. They always want to dig in your pocket. But TuneCore is not about that. We're all about, independence, and we put the artist first. So I love being in this position, and I do that from the heart, man. Everything I do from the heart. I've been through a lot, and like I said, a lot of people, they glorify the problem and they make money off the problem, but they never give you a solution for none of that stuff.
See, we need to put you on the loudest, biggest bullhorn you could possibly have. I mean, a lot of people make mistakes because they don't ask questions, but in reality, when you don't know what question to ask, it's incumbent upon those who are watching your struggle say, here, this is the direction you need to go. I see you grinding. You're not asking questions, but maybe you're not embarrassed, but you don't know how to phrase your question. Let me make it easy for you. This is A, B, C, and D. And you hit these benchmarks between A and Z, and that's how you grow.
Very, very important as well. You look at TuneCore, the distribution company that I'm working for, they did a brilliant thing by even putting a person like me in that position, because the audience, the youth, the upcoming artists, they're familiar with Papoose. We know this guy. You understand? We know his work. We know his grind. We've seen his story unfold right in front of us. So, I hate to say this because I don't want to take jobs from anyone, but sometimes these companies, they have the wrong individuals in position, and these people don't care about the culture. They don't want to preserve it. They don't want to add on to it. They just want to take away. They don't have the same passion as a person like me. You look at basketball, the commentators, the people that's in position are ex-players. Boxing, same thing. You know what I'm saying? That those brothers been through it. They know what it's like to be in the ring or be on that court. So when you take individuals who actually been through it, those brothers can pass down knowledge and be the real teachers to the next generation. So I just want to salute TuneCore for even putting me in this position to help the artists, because I know what it's like to be an artist and I know what they want. You know what I'm saying? I know that drive. I understand it. So, I can go on and on about that.
I could go on and on about that as well. I love it. I don't make music, and I don't want to burn anybody down. I just want to make sure that my child, selfishly, if they decide to enter into the entertainment industry, and that they understand the business.
There you go.
That they're not shocked and surprised by the mercenary mindset that is involved in the industry. And, I call it the affluenza defense. Maybe you'll remember this, the young guy who was too rich to understand and care about how his actions might affect someone else. When it gets to the industry and those millions that you mentioned before, some people do forget that. Could I get you to give a closing word on staying grounded moving forward. And I'm gonna give you peace for the rest of the day.
No doubt, man. As far as moving forward, you know, wherever you are right now, look across the room. If you want to reach the other side of the room, let's just keep it basic. In order to do that, you got to do what? You got to put one foot in front of the other. Same thing about your goals in life. You're not going to sit around and wait for no one to come pick you up and carry you there, right? You're going to put one foot in front of the other and travel. Same thing with your goals and things you want to achieve in life. Don't wait on nobody. Listen, get out there, put one foot in front of the other. I don't care if you got to take baby steps. Make sure you make every moment of your life useful. Don't depend. You don't need to depend on anyone. You know what I mean? Even with my job, I tell artists all the time, I don't care what your value is as an artist. You should be cashing in on it. Because believe it or not, you have an audience. It may not be a tremendous audience, but even if it's a small one, you should still cash in on that, because when you cash in, you can use that to gauge what you got to do to increase your audience. So that's what TuneCore is all about. You open your account, you connect your bank account to your TuneCore account, you release your music on all the DSPs. That's what we do. We distribute it worldwide, and you monetize off of that music. Whatever it can be a couple hundred, a couple thousands, it could be $1 million. We have all different size accounts. But always monetize off of what you're doing. Always believe in yourself. Put one foot in front of the other. Take the initiative. I didn't become a musician or artist or even get a record deal until I took matters into my own hands and stopped waiting on people to come give it to me. As far as moving forward and as far as staying grounded, stay true to who you are. You know what I mean? Don't look at another individual for that. Look at the man in the mirror. Believe in yourself. That's where it starts from. Self-preservation is everything. You can't help no one if you can't first help who? Yourself. So right. always stay true to yourself, man. And I think that'll keep you focused on being grounded, because you will never go away from that as long as you remember who you are.
Okay. The amazing artist, father, businessman, entrepreneur, husband, Papoose. Hey, iOne Digital just released, they premiered May 5th. Listen to Black Men. It's a 7-part series. They discuss fatherhood, relationships, mental health. Those are just a few of the topics that these celebrities talk with host Mouse Jones. Papoose, the Deep Brother, got in there and laid some stuff out. Very proud for you.
Thank you.
Wishing you much continued success. Thank you for the time. iOne Digital. Listen to Black Men. New episodes every Friday on MadameNoir.com, CassiusLife.com. And until next time.
Peace. No doubt.
As an artist, we should reflect the time.
Why you so talented?
Because I'm Black.
Why you so amazing?
Because I'm Black.
It's really important that we build characters so that people understand their story matters.
2 Chainz and I both are just really into good food.
And when you know you are royalty, you will only aim in life to be royalty.
We're doing it right now.
I don't give a damn what they say about me. Yes, I called your ass out. I know I shouldn't be saying this kind of...
Shout out the Hype Magazine Network.
Shout out to the Hype Magazine Network.